It's B.O.B. That's Bolo Break. S1E1. Let's give it a take. It's M.R.E.T. I'm about to drop these gems, so come on in and give it a listen.
Hang with the big dogs, stay on the porch, blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
But let's jump right into it, man. This is Amari Thompson. This is Ball or Break, and this is EP1. And I'm so glad y'all are tuned in today. And today's episode will be called First and 10. And these are the 10 most important things that I wish that I knew going to college. So, as a 17-year-old coming out of high school, you're coming in your first week or first semester or whatever you want to label it as, you're excited to work out, you're excited to train, you're excited to compete, excited to get ready to your sport, ready to take action immediately. But in fact, you should take that time to just get acclimated the first week or your first semester and just understand where you are. Because, through athletic thinking, we going in, that's all on our mind. What we going to work out, we're going to lift weights, we're going to do that, we're going to do this in the third. A personal story, I'll never forget, coming in 2016, our freshman year at Georgia Southern, and playing football, we were just asking the coaches, when we about to lift weights? When we about to do this, when we about to do that, when we about to train, when we about to what? And the coach was just like, relax. When in fact, that is the proper advice. You should relax because most of us don't understand what just happened to us. Yeah, we understand we got scholarships and going to college, but we don't understand what our lives have changed in a sense. It's not the same. We're not living with our parents. We're not under their roof. We're not really with their attention and the care every day, 24/7. You're now on your own, placed in a different realm now, and life is about to get real fast without you even realizing it. So take the time to just slow down and understand where you are and just see that everything around you has changed, because now you're beyond just an athlete now. You have to think for yourself, move by yourself, make decisions for yourself, and all of that stuff in that nature. You don't understand necessarily coming out of high school, but take that time to just slow down, get acclimated, and just be where you are. Point two, when you're able to create the balance, take the time to get to know other people. You don't want to be the person who goes to a university or institution or another college for 4 to 5 years and just talk to athletes or be around athletes. You understand with your sport, you may build a camaraderie, you may build brotherhood or sisterhood in your sport, but it's okay to network or get to other people or branch out and make other friends outside of your sport, because those can also prolong you into a different career, help you make connections, help you get to know people, and help you just overall become well-rounded and help you know more than just what your sport is. And transition to point three, a lot of people go to college in the same state. A lot of people go to college in a new state. So my personal touch, I've seen like a lot of guys that I knew or women that I knew, we were going home so often, because we couldn't find things that we could connect to or make us feel at home, or basically give us that home feel. When actuality, you got to try, to be honest. You have to try to branch out. You have to try to get to know things and learn where you are and learn where you're at, because we don't really understand this. This is now our home. At times we don't like to think about it like that, because our family isn't there, mom and dad isn't there, or the cousins or relatives aren't there. But actually, this is your home, whether you like it or not. Like people I know when I went to Georgia Southern, Georgia Southern, we don't really like to claim Statesboro, claim where we are, where we're at. But it has to be where you're from. But this is now your home, especially if you're an athlete. You want to be here 95% of the time. So it's okay to branch out, find clubs, find barbershops, find hair salons, find people that you can get to know locally, and just make connections that way, so you are able to find a sense of grounding and be where you are more often, so you can, in a sense, help you grow up. Because if you're always going home, always visiting mom, always visiting parents, always home throughout the weekends, what really are you being able to take away while you are at school if you're always home, Not saying it's an issue, because we all have those growing pains, we all have those slight homesicknesses vibes, and we all want to go home and get that home cooking, get that meal, see your people. But it's okay to step outside of the walls of the university and just see who you are, because you don't want to be somewhere for 3, 4, 5 years and all you know is the campus. I've seen people that I know in my time at Georgia Southern in Statesboro, Georgia. It's so crazy how you can ride around somewhere and they don't know where they are, but it's not an insult. But just know it's okay to branch out. It's okay to meet people. It's okay to talk to people who live there locally, people who are from there. So you are able to get that at-home vibe while you're not at home. Dig? Feel me? Also, coming in right away. You may not find it coming in right away, but it's okay to find your why. A lot of us young men, In my sport, we say we're gonna go to the NFL, but is that really a why? You know, find out what the thing is that helps you get going in the morning. When you put your feet on the ground, when that alarm clock go off, so often with athletes, I know with football, in our connection, we hear that alarm clock go off 5:30, 5:45, your emotions just wake up. Oh, damn, I gotta go to work. I gotta go to this, I gotta go to practice. And yes, you wanna get to the NFL, but when you know your why, it'll help you get out the bed so much easier. I'll never forget a coach of mine by the name of Chris Foster, right? Coach Foster. He asked me in the meeting room, what's your why? And I couldn't tell him. I was like, that's a great point, because when you know your why, it's so easier for you to get out the bed. It's so easier for you to go to training. It's so easier for you to work out and get those extra reps, get the extra time, and put that extra time in everything else, because your why is everything that's going to help you get everything you need and want to acquire in your future. You know, your why, it can be an NFL to help you financially with your family. But if you just say, I want to go to the NFL, bro, everybody want to go to the NFL. So, you know, you got to understand what else is it that going to make you tick, make you grind, make you put that extra 10% in, that extra rep, that extra hour, that extra time period, that extra film study. And that's really what's going to help you grow as not only a person, but an athlete. You know, point 5, you know, don't let your athletic eagerness outweigh your vision and the opportunity that's in front of you. You know, a lot of us understand, coming from where we come from, how big of an opportunity we are and how blessed we are to be fortunate to have a chance that we have. You know, we think about sports, athletics, to where you don't understand that you're placed in one of the biggest opportunity networks ever, you know, for you to grow as a person. Not only grow as an athlete, you can learn more, meet more people, do things you haven't done before, you know, expand who you know so you can become more valuable in the person you are. Like, in your own way, if you would take the time to expand who you are, it'll help you raise your own personal value. So by the time you are done playing your sport, regardless if you go to the professional stage or you gotta go into your career afterwards, if you take the time to take full advantage of the opportunities in front of you, by the time you're done, like we like to say, your price gonna go up. I promise you, your prices will grow up for sure. And that's gonna launch into our next point of being able to diversify yourself. You know, we all know our own stories, our backgrounds, and what we all know we can do athletically, but don't let that inhibit your personal growth. You know, so often you see athletes at institutions and they are like playing football, they're getting better, they're getting bigger, they're getting faster, they're getting stronger. But from what I know, my knowledge of playing football, like, where are we growing mentally? You know, are we picking up the same intelligence as fast as we're picking up a play? Are we being able to grow intellectually as fast as we're able to learn a route or learn a coverage? Are we able to critically think as much as we're able to bench press or squat, you know? So you have to be able to find a perfect balance between your personal growth and your athletic growth, so you're able to, like we said before, make your stock go up. And, you know, those things and those characteristics that you build throughout your 45 years in school, or 3 years, or whoever, depending on who you are, those are gonna be the principles that really push you further in your future, make you grow as a person, make you grow as a young man, a young woman, make you see things different, help you pick up knowledge that you haven't even thought you would, because if you're doing more outside of your sport. And also, like, going to our next point, understand it's okay to change. It's okay to get smarter. It's okay to grow. You shouldn't want to remain the same person. You should, like, it's okay to get bigger, faster, stronger, but make sure your brain and your spirit and your intellect and your knowledge is also keeping up the same pace. Because unlike myself, I was worried about sports, but what was I learning outside of sports that was really helping me mature, helping me grow as a person, helping me apply the teachings that what I was getting from sports to real life. You know, I would never forget, in 2018, I sat down with my coach in his office by the name of Corey Peoples. He told me, Omari, you lack assertiveness. And I was like, I took it as an insult at first. I was like, after we had that meeting, I went into my locker and sat down and looked up what it means to be assertive. And I was like, maybe he's right. Because, you know, if he sees something that I don't see, maybe it's a teaching point for me and help me grow more as a person, as a man, and beyond the athlete. You know, he told me he's watched me on the backside of plays. Play be way away from me, but I'm walking or jogging towards the play. But I took that point and learned to apply assertiveness, not only as an athlete, but only as a young man also. And learn to our next point. Learn your playbook to personal connection. You know, as much as they tell you to take notes, much as they tell you to watch film, much as they tell you to study your notes and study your film and study this and study that in the third, or go back and watch this in the third, make sure you're applying those same principles from that to your life and who you are, because you don't, like I said before, you don't want to be grown as an athlete, but when it's time to think, or when it's time to do something, or when it's time to go outside of your realm, you can't keep up mentally, you can't keep up intellectually, you can't keep up knowledgeably, because you're not really applying yourself in different aspects. Yes, it's okay to be great at your sport, but make sure you're being great as a person also, because so often they always say athletes are dumb, which is not the truth. We're not dumb, I promise you. I promise you. Like, we may have small hiccups every now and again. I promise you, we're fine. And just make sure you're taking those things every day, because we see ourselves in sports performing every day, and like, it's not often we get a lot of time to ourselves. So when you do get that self-time, it's okay to put self-work in, self-work to grow, self-work to help your mentals increase, help your spirit increase, help you grow in all aspects, And these last principles that we're coming upon, I call it the LADG principle. The LADG principle is your first year, you should want to learn, you should want to adapt, you should want to diversify yourself, you should want to grow. Take that first year, your first semester, just to really do things different. Take what you apply from life, those life lessons and teachings, and apply them going forward. So by the time you do get 21, 22, or depending on how old you are, 23, you're not one-dimensional in a sense. You don't want to just be an athlete. You don't want to just be a football player, a basketball player, a track athlete, whatever your sport is. You don't want to just be that. You don't want to be beyond that. Be a sponge. When you get the time to talk to an elder person, or a person who's been in your shoes before, a person who's experienced your experiencing, and you get those lessons, listen, because I promise you, nobody at this stage will tell you something that will hurt you. Now, it may be everybody's journey may be different, but take the time to really listen and adapt and be observant, and just take that first year to just grow and learn who you are, learn what you want to do, learn your why, learn what makes you go. And that's what really I feel like your first year should be. And one of the last points is, because so often athletes get to college and they learn it's not what they expected at all. They see what it is, see how it works, see how it operates. Oh man, I don't like this no more. Oh, what do whoop, or find a way to complain, or find a way to do this and the third. And that's the point, to connect with that, just have fun while you're doing it, Like, it's gonna be challenges, it's gonna be times you wanna do things you don't wanna do, times you don't want to get up that early, times you don't want to take the extra rep, the extra mile, the extra practice, or the extra film study, or whatever it may be. But you got to understand something. You're in a position where a lot of people aren't. And sometimes us being athletes and us doing that stuff every day, we don't understand that. Like, we have to have fun in this stuff. Because coming in the transition from high school to college, you will understand it's going to be a lot of times where you're going to do a lot of things you don't want to do. I promise you. Through whether it's events, through whether it's traveling, whether it's practicing, whether it's working out, whether it's going to a community center to talk to kids, or whatever it is, going to read to kids, whatever it may be. There's going to be a lot of times you don't want to do certain things. So you have to understand taking a full opportunity so you can be able to have fun in this, because playing football, playing basketball, running track, or whatever your sport is in college, you have to be able to love it. Because if you don't love it, I promise you, it's not going to be so fun. You have to understand. That's why I said earlier, you have to find your why fast. Because so often you hear people just talking about going pro and the financial part of sports. But if you don't understand what goes along with this on the other aspects, you're not going to enjoy your process. You're not going to enjoy your journey. You're going to find it hard. You're going to be making those phone calls home to mom and dad. I don't like this. I want to go home. I want to transfer. Whatever it may be, you have to love what you do. And you have to find a way to have fun every day in what you do. I know it's going to be a lot of times you'll be tired, groggy, your body will be aching. But when you find the time to create that common balance for yourself, this process will be way, way, way more fun. And you'll be able to look back and be like, man, I really enjoyed my 4 years. I really enjoyed my 3 years or my 5 years in my school because of these reasons that I created for myself, or these points that I created for myself. And another thing, be able to be mature, help your maturity rate grow just as much as you're growing athletically, because your maturity rate will help you grow with relationships with coaches. It can help you grow with your performance time and all aspects, be able to know you can roll with the punches. And about that, I mean, when you got to do things you don't want to do, like we said earlier. All right, guys, that is a wrap for episode 1 of Ball or Break. This is Amari Thompson bringing you all First and 10. Please subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram at Thompson_Amari, on Twitter at Amari_T28. Tune in next week for episode 2 of Ball of Break, and we are out.
Hang with the big dogs, stay on the porch, blow the whistle.